Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Morning Matters. It is 6:37. I was like dedicated to starting on time today, and I got here ready to go, ripping and raring. Excuse me, man. Woo! All right. Normally there's two of those. And of course it's 6:30 on the dot. I go to press start podcast and or go live, and the whole computer turns black. And I guess that's a good subject for today because and I had to charge it up and I had to reset everything, and here we go. And here we're starting. And oh, that word reset, maybe that's why that happened, because so today it's 9:23. It is Tuesday. There was 3 days of no morning matters, and I decided to stop doing it on the weekends. And then uh I didn't do morning matters yesterday too. And so, a bunch of things have been going on in my life. I've been trying to figure out my next steps here as far as my career path that I want to go. And it's been weighing so much on my mind, and it's interesting because I need a reset, right? And even the running, I fell off. I was dedicated to doing that every day, and on Sunday I didn't do it, and then all of a sudden it made it easier not to do on Monday. I didn't do it yesterday, so I said, well, we got to reset. We got to, obviously some of the passion's gone, the discipline has fallen off, and instead of, we got to start over again. And the thing is I've had a lot of people in the past, like right now I do a thing on my TikTok where it's just day one. It just says day one all the time. And I'm like on day one, part 30. And I had in the past people say, you do something for a bit and then you stop, and then you do it again, you do something else, and then you stop, and then, why don't you just keep going? And I'm like, yeah, well, isn't that's the trick, right? But I talk about goals. One of the things I'm going to go over is goals and goal setting. And what is the purpose of goal setting? The purpose of goal setting is not that you hit your goals, but that it brings you closer, that you journey, and that you're going to fail. Again, it's so funny to me that that we tell kids, hey, failing is okay, and learn from your mistakes, and just get up and learn and go again. But then when we see someone actually doing it, or when we do it ourselves, we're so hard on that like we're so hard on ourselves, or we're so to the other person. It's like I'm watching right now. I invest what little investments I still can make into Tesla, right? And it's funny, I see people, and whether, who cares if you like Elon Musk, you don't like Elon Musk, it doesn't really matter. But what happens is every single time when I look at what his projects is, like every time everyone's all there, all the naysayers, and it's happened so many times now that it's interesting. But like all the naysayers right now are about the full self-driving, right? Like he said, we're going to have robo taxis, we're going to have these full self-driving cars, and everyone, the naysayers, the people who aren't Elon Musk, right? The people who are rooting against him are like, oh yeah, you said this over and over and over again for years and years. Like you said it's going to be this year, and then it didn't happen. And you said it was going to be this year, and it didn't happen. It said this going to be year. Now we don't believe you. It's not going to happen. And then it finally happened. Like finally in Austin, Texas, they launched the robotaxi service that you could actually take and drive. And people were like, oh, well, it's only, there's got to be a safety driver. Like there's no one in the driver's seat, there's someone in the passenger seat. And so so the naysayers are like, oh, well, it's not really a robotaxi because you have someone in the car that's a Tesla employee. And it's like, even though the car is literally driving itself, you have someone there. So therefore, so that's not it. And it was only, a small percentage, and it was only, you're only in this little part now in Austin. So then they expanded the area, and they're like, oh, well, who cares? It's only, you still have those drivers. And then they went to California, and they made this massive section. And people like, but in California, the laws are you have to have a person in the car for a certain amount of miles, even if they're not doing anything. And so people are like, oh, well, that doesn't count. This doesn't count. So and now they just got permits to go in Nevada and Arizona. And so I was on the Uber Lyft Facebook group, and there was people in there like, oh, it's never going to happen, or it's like 10 years away. And I'm like, do you see how fast that it's expanding? And it's not like this man doesn't have a track record of doing this. It was the same thing with the electric cars. And people are like, no one's going to buy an electric car, or it's too much money. Oh, no one's going to, you're not going to be able to mass produce it. Oh, look, in 2018, they're like, oh, you said you're going to be making 5,000 cars a week, and you're not making it. And blah, 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 blah. And now it's like it's the best selling car out there. And people are still like, nah. But every failure along the way, people laughed. People were like, oh, see, and this and that. And maybe that people aren't going after you with your goals and laughing at you or saying you can't do it, but maybe you're the person that voice in your head saying, look, I failed again, give up, why start over? Why do this anymore? You're not going to be able to do it. Like, maybe it's you're your own naysayer. And so what you have to understand is failure is feedback all the time. And the only way you truly fail, to fail, is not, you are not a failure. A failure is different than to fail. To fail, you just dust yourself off, right? And we tell kids, get up, you'll be fine, and keep going. And so, so I fell short of my jogging. I fell short of, this podcast every day. I missed yesterday. And so I have two choices: either just be like, oh, I failed, and leave, or start again. And that's where I am. So here we are this morning. I sat down, I got up earlier this morning, and I sat down and I said, okay, let me rework some of my goals. And actually, no, I'm not changing my goals. The goals are still the same. They still want all of them, which I'll cover in a minute. But let's go over how I'm going to get there. What's the path? And that's what we do in the morning. That's what we do in the morning here. Every morning, 6:30 to 7, we go over our goals, and we get our minds ready for the day to go after those goals. So that being said, those of you on TikTok, you can't see this, but I'm going to pull my goals up. Now, what you should be doing is writing down your own goals. Goals have to have three things in order to count as a goal. They need to be measurable. As I pull them up, measurable meaning that you have to be able to say you did it or you didn't do it, right? Like, you can't, like, I want to be happy, I want to make a lot of money, I want to lose weight. Those are not goals. Those are byproducts of goals. So it has to, if it's like lose weight, you have to say something like, I want to lose 15 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever the number is, right? So that's the first thing. If you want to make a lot of money, it's like, well, how much money is a lot of money? A lot of money is different to each person. A lot of money to me is different than a lot of money to my 9-year-old niece. It was different than a lot of money to Elon Musk, right? So you have to put the number down. What's a lot of money? What is the money goal? So first rule is it has to be measurable. Oh, that's why I can't find it. It's not, I'm in downloads. The first thing is it has to be measurable. The second thing, it has to have a time frame. Like, when will it end? All right. So my goals I've set for a year, but you can do 6 months, you can do 3 months, you can do 5 years from now. All right. So, but there has to be a endpoint, because if you don't have an endpoint, then it's just going to go on forever, and it's not going to drive you towards actually achieving those goals. So it has to have an endpoint or a time frame. All right. And then the third thing is it has to be written down. So you could do it in pen and paper, you can do it on the computer, however you want to do it, but it has to be written down. And the reason you write it down is so they don't change, right? So you don't in your head forget them, or because if you keep things in your head, you tend to have other things go on in your head. And okay. Oh, is that how I do it? Interesting. Actually, oh, cool. I'm going to write that down. Learn TikTok. I don't understand a lot of stuff about TikTok Live. So I'm on TikTok while we're doing this on YouTube. And I have here my to-do list. I know you can't see that, but learn TikTok Live. So I'm going to watch a video on that and figure that out. Okay. Got it. So those are the criteria for goals. So let me I'll bring my goals up real quick. I'll read them off, and we're just going to do the goals because I am going to be working on the disciplines. But my goals are really simple. Decrease my bad debt by $25,000. This is before September 13th, 2026. So I got to put $25,000 towards my bad debt. Buy $10,000 of Tesla stock. Tesla stock, by the way, took off again. It hurts my soul. Like I wish I had money that I would have been buying, when it was down in the 300s. Now it's up to it went up again from like the 420s it was like at 415, 460, and it went up to like 440 yesterday, and it just keeps going up. And again, I have a thesis, and I'll be talking about that on a different podcast about how I think that Tesla stock will be anywhere from $2,500 to $44,000 in the year 2030. But anyway, buy $10,000 of Tesla stock, save $7,000, and raise my credit score by 150 points. Now, it was kind of interesting. I said I wanted to raise my credit score by 150 points, but I didn't even know what my credit score was. So how serious was I about that goal, right? So I actually went today and looked it up. And it was funny because I was saying that I've been doing this for a while. And every week I'd say the same thing. I got to look it up. Every day I would say, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up. And I just didn't, right? So if you are financially out there and you're in I had a mentor once that told me, if you're in a financial hole, the first step to getting out is to stop digging. Right. And so you can't dig your way out of a hole. So, don't get more credit cards. Don't stop spending, stop expending so much money. And, that's the first step to, getting out of the hole, is to stop digging the hole deeper. And so and a lot of people, they don't look at the reality of where they are. And so you can't go somewhere. I was listening to a Brian Tracy video at one point, and he's like, in order to get to where you want to go, the first thing you need to know is where you are, right? Like if you called someone, this is, these goals are your destination, right? Your goals are like where you want to go. But the first thing you got to know is where you are, right? So like if you were if you were, somebody blindfolded you and, knocked you out, and then you woke up somewhere and you had a cell phone and you were in like a dark room, you couldn't figure out where you were, and you called someone, you say, oh, man, I got to get to X place. I got to get home. Well, and you call your friend, and what's the first thing they would ask you? Well, where are you? Right? So no, just tell me how to get home. Well, I need to know where you are in order to give you directions on how to get home, right? So if you are looking at so you have to take an evaluation of where you are right now in order to start making a plan as to how you're going to get someplace else. And so a lot of people don't even want to look at their own, whether it's their health, whether it's their finances, whether it's their relationship. Like they don't want to look at the reality of where they are before they start trying to figure out how to get someplace else. It's like, you got to take a hard look at where you are. And I was doing that with my credit score. I was like, I know it's bad, but how can I raise it 150 points if I don't even know what it is, right? So I had to go and look at it. So yeah, I did. Same thing with my health, right? So that was my financial goals. So that's a financial: reduce $25,000 of debt, $10,000 Tesla stock, save $7,000 in the next year, and raise my credit score by 150 points. Now, health. A1C down to 6.5 or lower. Now, again, I don't know what my A1C is. I do know what it was. It was around 12. So that was like half, which is why I came up with that. I don't have a way to check that. So maybe, let me write that down on my to-do list. Get an A1C checker. Now I did, I went to the doctor and got my blood checked that way, and that's how I found it out. But I don't have no way to check that on a regular basis. So I got that. Average blood sugar under 150. It was 190 today. So that's something. I have the ability to check that, but I want to get the average under 150. Weight down to 250 pounds or less. I was 297 this morning. Complete a half marathon, which is 13 miles. Bench press 315 pounds. One more time. I just want it one more time in my life. I want to get the 3 plates and bench press it, which means to the gym, right? Squat 225 for 10, is another thing that I want to do. So those are my health goals. As far as my disciplines go, I'm reworking them. I will say that one of the reworks that I did, and I will have this prepared for tomorrow, is I put down 2 24-hour fasts a week. So one of the things that when I got my blood sugar down and I got my weight down before, one of the things that that worked for me pretty well was doing the fasts. And it's hard. I've tried all kinds of things. I tried the diet. I tried the intermittent fasting. Between this time and this time. I've tried, just do the carnivore diet or just do this and do that. And for me, it's challenging because I'm a snacker. I like snack, and I eat a lot in between meals and different times, and so. And even keeping track of the time, like I was doing intermittent, I was like, I'm going to do intermittent fast. I'll just start eating at 2 and stop eating at 9 or whatever. And it wasn't working out for me. So the best now, it's hard to do this, but the best results I've had in the past is when I just said 24-hour fast, stop eating at 2 on one day, and then I can't eat until 2 o'clock again the next day. And so that way, I just know I can't eat till 2. I stopped. I eat my last piece of meal, and there's no what time is it? Because it was funny with the intermittent fasting. I would cheat it. I would be like, okay, well, I was supposed to. I can't start until 2, but if I eat right now, I'm hungry right now. So if I eat at 1, I'll just stop earlier. Like I would negotiate. And I'd be like, oh well, it's supposed to be 2 to 9, so I'll start now at 1, and then I'll stop at 8, right? And then 10 o'clock would come and I'd go to the gym or something would happen and I'd be eating something and I'd be like, oh, it's too late. It would just erode. So we switched it to 2 24-hour fasts. That's it. That's what we're going to work on. So the rest of the disciplines I need to work on. I'm going to be changing. My podcasts, I have a couple of different podcasts I want to do. I keep bouncing around. I wanted to do like Money Matters and Humanity Matters, and I might just keep it with This Matters on Sunday because I love doing the philosophy stuff, and then and then what I'm thinking about is all the other topics I want to do, because I want to talk about Tesla, I want to talk about solar, I want to talk about politics and humanity and and how we act with each other. I want to talk about wealth building. I want to talk about all these different subjects, and I keep trying to make separate podcasts for each one of them, and it's just when I think about doing one, I get stuck and I want to talk about another. So I think I might just keep Cosmic Matters and then just do This Matters, and then just have different topics for This Matters, and then just say I'm just going to do This Matters every whatever, and then I can just upload each one, maybe have segments. I could probably just do segments and just have a main topic for each one, and that's it. And it's just This Matters. So that's what I'm thinking about. Instead of doing all these separate podcasts, just maybe doing This Matters either daily or every other day. So I'm working that out. I'll have it done by tomorrow. So anyway, what I will be doing today, well, as soon as I hang this up, is I will get focused on figuring out my disciplines. By tomorrow, I will have all my disciplines back ready to go. We'll talk about it. I will have a video for tomorrow as far as that works out. And back to the gym and running today. I know that's going to be a part of it for sure. So I definitely will be back on the health thing today. So I needed a little reset, just like my computer needed this morning, a reset to get started. But the reset is ready, and September 23rd, we're back on the horse. So I hope everyone has a great morning, and I will talk to you soon.